China has once again found itself at the center of a global trade storm, this time taking aim at the European Union in a battle that could shatter any remaining illusions of diplomatic cooperation in an unprecedented move. The EU has slapped tariffs of up to 37.6% on electric vehicles made in China, a decision that reeks of hypocrisy and thinly veiled protectionism. This is the same EU that touts its commitment to free trade and climate change, yet here it is, strangling the lifeblood of global green transformation to protect its ailing automakers. The sheer arrogance of imposing such punitive measures on China, a country that is indisputably leading the charge in electric vehicle innovation, cannot be ignored. Is the EU so threatened by China's meteoric rise that it must resort to archaic trade tactics to safeguard its industries? Or is this yet another attempt by the West to suppress a power they simply cannot control? China, for its part, is not taking this lying down. Filing an official complaint with the World Trade Organization, Beijing has called out Europe for its double standards and reckless disregard for global economic stability. This isn't just a trade dispute, it's an economic Cold War. A battle for dominance in the rapidly growing electric vehicle market. Europe, blinded by its desperation to cling to its diminishing influence, has opted to antagonize the very country that could help it meet its lofty climate goals. The irony is palpable. And the repercussions could be devastating for both sides. With retaliatory measures looming, we're on the brink of a full-blown trade war that could reverberate far beyond electric vehicles, affecting everything from agriculture to luxury goods. Stay with us till the end, as we dissect this unfolding drama, where arrogance, hypocrisy, and political gamesmanship collide on the global stage. Hello and welcome back to Innovative Check YouTube channel, where we delve into the innovative and transformative projects changing our world. If you're new to the channel and enjoy learning about innovation stories around the world, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe, like, and comment to help boost our videos on YouTube. The Chinese government, in a strategic move aimed at safeguarding its burgeoning electric vehicle industry, has filed an official complaint with the World Trade Organization. This action comes in response to the European Union's imposition of tariffs on electric vehicles produced in China. These tariffs, which reach up to 37.6%, have raised concerns among Chinese officials and international trade experts alike. The Chinese authorities argue that such measures not only contravene the rules established by the World Trade Organization, but also risk undermining global cooperation on climate change, particularly at a time when the world is grappling with the urgent need for a green transformation. At the heart of this escalating trade tension lies the E.U's claim that Chinese electric vehicles unfairly benefit from substantial government subsidies. These subsidies, according to the EU, create an uneven playing field, giving Chinese automakers an advantage that European manufacturers cannot easily match. However, China has swiftly dismissed these accusations, stating that its support for the electric vehicle industry is fully in compliance with international trade laws. The stakes in this dispute are high, especially considering the broader economic context. China's auto exports have seen a significant rise, even as domestic sales have faltered. This growth in exports has been a key driver of the country's economic recovery in recent months, and the imposition of tariffs threatens to disrupt this momentum. In July alone, China's auto exports surged compared to the same month in the previous year, highlighting the critical importance of international markets for Chinese automakers. Yet, the implications of this conflict extend far beyond the electric vehicle industry. In a retaliatory move, China has launched investigations into several European exports, including French cognac and pork from various EU countries. These actions have raised fears that the dispute could spiral into a full-blown trade war, with damaging consequences for both sides. Analysts are warning that such a scenario could have far-reaching economic implications, not only for China and the EU, but also for global trade as a whole. Despite the escalating rhetoric, there remains a window of opportunity for resolution. The two sides have until early November to reach an agreement, after which the provisional tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles will become official. Both China and the EU have expressed a willingness to engage in negotiations, though it remains to be seen whether a compromise can be found that satisfies both parties. Just a quick reminder to hit the like button below. YouTube has been restricting my videos a lot recently because of bots, so your like does help out this video massively in terms of the algorithm in YouTube. Behind the scenes, several key figures in both China and the EU are working to defuse the situation in China. Commerce Minister Wang Wentao has been leading the charge, advocating for a diplomatic resolution to the dispute. On the European side, Trade Commissioner Valdis Dombrovskis has been at the forefront of efforts to protect the interests of European automakers while avoiding a potentially damaging trade conflict. Both leaders have emphasized the importance of maintaining strong economic ties between China and the EU, even as tensions flare over specific trade issues. As the November deadline approaches, the pressure is mounting on both sides to find a solution. The electric vehicle industry is at a critical juncture. With global demand for clean energy solutions on the rise, any disruption to the supply chain could have serious consequences, not only for automakers but for the broader efforts to combat climate change. Both China and the EU have committed to ambitious climate goals, and cooperation between these two economic powerhouses will be essential if the world is to meet its targets for reducing carbon emissions. However, the path to resolving this dispute is fraught with challenges. The EU is under pressure from its own automakers, who argue that they cannot compete with Chinese companies that receive state support. Meanwhile, China is determined to protect its rapidly growing electric vehicle industry, which is seen as a key driver of the country's economic future. The outcome of this dispute will have significant implications not only for the electric vehicle market but also for the broader dynamics of global trade in the 21st century. Some experts argue that the current conflict is symptomatic of a broader shift in global trade relations. In recent years, there has been a growing trend towards protectionism, with countries increasingly prioritizing domestic industries over international cooperation. The U.S.-China trade war, which began under the Trump administration, is perhaps the most prominent example of this trend. But the current tensions between China and the EU suggest that the era of free trade may be coming to an end. Instead, countries are increasingly focused on protecting their own economic interests, even at the expense of global cooperation. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and comment. For China, this shift presents both opportunities and challenges. On the one hand, the country is well positioned to benefit from the growing demand for electric vehicles and other clean energy technologies. China's electric vehicle industry has grown rapidly in recent years. Driven by a combination of government support and private sector innovation, companies like BYD and NIO have emerged as major players in the global market, and China's leadership in battery technology gives it a competitive edge. At the same time, however, China's success has made it a target for other countries, particularly in the West. The E.U's tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles are just the latest example of the growing pushback against China's economic rise in the U.S. There have been similar concerns about Chinese dominance in key industries, leading to increased scrutiny of Chinese investments and trade practices. This growing resistance to China's economic influence has led some to question whether the country can continue its rapid growth in the face of mounting international opposition. For the EU, the challenge is equally complex. European automakers have long been leaders in the global automotive industry, but they now face stiff competition from their Chinese counterparts. The rise of electric vehicles has disrupted the traditional automotive market, with new players emerging and established companies struggling to adapt. In this context, the E.U's decision to impose tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles can be seen as a defensive move aimed at protecting European automakers from what they see as unfair competition. However, the E.U's approach is not without risks. By imposing tariffs, the EU risks alienating China, one of its largest trading partners. Furthermore, there is the potential for retaliation from China, which could have serious consequences for European exporters. The investigations into French cognac and European pork exports are just the first signs of what could become a broader trade conflict, with both sides imposing tariffs and other restrictions on each other's goods in the long run. The outcome of this dispute will depend on whether China and the EU can find a way to balance their economic interests with the need for international cooperation. Both sides have much to lose if the conflict escalates into a full-blown trade war. But finding a resolution that satisfies both parties will not be easy. The electric vehicle industry is at the heart of this dispute. But the issues at stake go far beyond the automotive sector, at a time when the world is grappling with the twin challenges of economic recovery and climate change. The ability of China and the EU to work together will be critical. This dispute also highlights the broader tensions between China and the West, which have been simmering for years. As China's economic power has grown, so too has its influence on the global stage. This has led to increasing friction with Western countries, which are struggling to adapt to a world in which China plays an increasingly dominant role. The electric vehicle dispute is just one manifestation of this larger struggle, but it is a significant one, given the importance of the industry to both China's economic future and the E.U's climate goals. With global attention focused on the outcome of this dispute, it is clear that the stakes are high for both China and the EU as the November deadline approaches. The pressure will only increase for both sides to find a resolution. Whether they can do so remains to be seen. But the consequences of failure could be far-reaching. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome your thoughts and questions on this complex and vital subject. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence. Your subscriptions and likes motivate us to generate more content, so please keep supporting us. Check out this video showing on your screen right now, and I will see you on the other side.